Prisons range from low-security camps to the supermax institutions that house the most violent offenders. Every one is different, but they share some commonalities. Here's what life inside an American prison might look like, from dawn until lights out. While prisons across America differ in countless significant ways, one thing they all share is an early wake-up time for their inmates. From low security to supermax prisons, prisoners are typically awakened in their cells by an alarm and security personnel at 6 a.m., although some institutions ring the alarm an hour earlier.
Wake up! Rise and shine!
A prisoner's first responsibility at the start of the day is to get up, dress, and make their bed before their cell is inspected. Prisoners typically wear regulation outfits, such as the common orange jumpsuit or more downbeat workwear, although uniforms vary from prison to prison. Once cells are opened, prisoners can also use the bathroom. In many prisons, inmates are supplied with regulation health and comfort items, or bathroom supplies, which they often have to look after themselves and ensure they last. In Florida, for example, prisoners are each supplied with 1 toilet roll and 1 bar of basic soap per week.
The guy comes into my room, wakes me up, asking me for shampoo. I'm like, dude, who are you? You're nobody.
Toothbrushes are often regulation models, though new designs have seen toothbrushes made without regular handles, or made of a special material that prisoners are unable to craft into a homemade weapon. Breakfast takes place soon after prisoners wake up, at a very early hour, which, depending on the prison, may be between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Many prisons have a canteen where inmates eat together, often served by other inmates working as chefs, porters, and dishwashers. However, writing for the Marshall Project, inmate Jerry Metcalf paints a different scene. According to Metcalf, his unit in Thumb Correctional Facility in Lapeer, Michigan, runs a self-service operation where prisoners heat up their own food in one of the unit's 2 microwaves. It sounds straightforward enough, but Metcalf notes that the machines are shared between a total of 96 prisoners in the unit, meaning that breakfast time is always a rush. Prisoners use the microwaves to heat up meals such as instant ramen and soup, but they're also used to make instant coffee, meaning a long line of hungry and caffeine-craving prisoners at peak times. To alleviate this, many prisons operate a shift system, with each wing or unit of the prison using the kitchen or canteen in turn. One mandatory daily ritual behind bars is the count, the first of which occurs just as prisoners are waking up. As the name implies, the count is when prison security counts the inmates to ensure every prisoner is present and their cells are in order. According to Metcalf, a call comes over the prison public address system with a 5-minute warning before count saying, "Be on your bunks and be visible." I repeat, be on your bunks and be visible for 11:30 count or you will get a ticket. The length of time a count can take varies, depending on the unit, the number of inmates and staff, and any issues that may arise during the course of the inspection. Prisoners are allowed to perform tasks from their bunk while the count takes place. Some prisons will have a minimum of 2 counts a day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, though others may have more, with extra counts in case of emergencies or security issues. A normal day for prisoners in most American prisons is dominated by work. The workday typically begins in the morning just after breakfast, breaks for lunch, then continues throughout the afternoon to dinner time. Prisoners can take on a wide range of jobs behind bars. Some work in the kitchen or canteen preparing and serving food. Others clean the halls of the prison and the bathrooms, or work in doing laundry or landscaping. Still others work for private companies that use prison labor.
Those male workers should not have been talking to those female workers.
I guess that's why they don't call them trustees anymore, right?
For minimum security prisoners, work may happen outside the prison, with employers coming to collect their workers. Contrary to popular belief, in many states, prison work isn't mandatory. The days of forced labor and chain gangs are in the past. Mostly, anyway. Some states, like Louisiana, punish inmates who refuse to participate in work crews. The earnings prisoners receive for their labor are notoriously small. So much so that some campaigners have argued that the pay is actually inhumane. The average prison wage in America can be measured in pennies, and in some states such as Alabama, Arkansas, and Texas, prison wages are non-existent. What little money prisoners earn can be spent at the prison store or commissary. The commissary sells snacks and other desirable items, including more luxurious toiletries than the prison provides. But aside from what prisoners earn working, many also use unofficial forms of currency, and bartering is ubiquitous. In the past, cartons of cigarettes were often used as currency, but since the Federal Bureau of Prisons banned smoking on site, the open presence of cartons of cigarettes has become prohibited.
I got no use for cash. I want 100 soups.
Soups?
Yeah, ramen. They're like a major currency in here.
According to the Foundation for Economic Education, these days, cans of fish are sometimes used as bartering tokens among inmates, though any commissary items can be used. Some use these tokens to gamble, which is banned in prisons but nevertheless occurs, or to trade for favors such as haircuts. As well as work duties, American prisoners are generally afforded a daily allotment of leisure time to spend as they like. This is typically spent with solo activities like reading, writing, or painting, or in competitive games like chess and backgammon. Many prisons organize more communal activities such as sports events, theater shows, and other performances by inmates or outside troops. It's long been understood by experts that recreation is an important cornerstone of prison life and can have a significant impact on rehabilitating prisoners before they rejoin society. As such, many prisons require that the leisure activities prisoners choose for themselves have some tangible value in terms of personal growth. But access to recreation and leisure time varies greatly from prison to prison and state to state. While a baseline exists in many prisons that mandates a minimum of 5 hours of leisure time a week, some prisoners report up to 5 recreation periods per day, starting with exercise in the morning and movie night in the early evening. Even in federal supermax prisons, leisure is encouraged, with libraries, movie nights, and quizzes organized for the prisoners' entertainment. Exercise time is an important part of any prison day. Some prisons have a weight room, others have an open-air yard with gym and sports equipment. Prisoners are free to lift weights, shoot hoops, or focus on other physical activities, though demand for equipment is often high. Exercise is vital for physical health, and becomes even more so when living in a state of confinement. Studies have shown that those who spend time in prison experience declining health, including weight gain and cardiovascular issues. Mental illness is a widespread issue among prisoners, meaning that regular exercise is a priority even among prisoners in high-security units. Prisons generally give inmates a minimum of an hour's exercise in the open air per day, though this can be increased or decreased based on the prisoner's behavior. As such, certain prisons, generally those with lower security requirements, offer sports clubs and organized team events, which in some cases involve prison-run teams playing against other prisons. Prisoners have testified that sports provide a release from prison life and remind them of the outside world, though historically there has been a debate over whether competitive sports offer a release of pent-up aggression among prisoners or whether they exacerbate it. The same debate exists around the issue of weightlifting. Though imprisonment is considered a form of punishment, an important function of the prison system is to allow inmates to grow as people, reflect on the issues that put them there, and return to their lives as functional members of society. For many prisoners, this self-discovery occurs within the framework of organized religion. Some inmates return to a faith they may have lost, while others find themselves turning to religion for the first time.
It's prison, you're surrounded by negative all the time. Be the light in the dark, Be the one that's different.
Faith is nurtured in many prisons with daily religious services, prayer meetings, gospel choirs, and ceremonies, catering to a wide variety of faiths. Often, professional chaplains work within the prison system as employees, though religious services may also be supported by volunteers, either from outside of prison or from among the prison population. Such figures are also on hand to counsel prisoners about their personal lives, such as bereavement. Alongside religious services, which are often held in the evenings, there is a whole range of specialist group meetings to help prisoners deal with various issues in their lives. Many of these focus on substance abuse and addiction, which can help prevent recidivism and increase drug use behind bars.
Do you think we learn how to express anger? Do you think that's something learned?
Prisoners may have access to anger management courses and other forms of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is a popular form of therapy in the outside world, with a focus on supporting a person to change destructive behavior, which is especially useful in supporting prisoners during the process of rehabilitation. Inmates with children may also take parenting classes, which teach them to be better guardians both behind bars and once they return to the outside world. For those concerned that they may relapse into a life of crime after their release, there are groups such as the 7th Step Foundation Club, which specializes in advising prisoners how to leave criminal behavior behind them.
We're trying to prepare them to be successful in a population setting.
Rehabilitation has long been a point of contention in the prison system, with activists having to fight for policies that support drug treatment behind bars. However, differences in laws in various states mean that such services are only partially available throughout the country, depending on where a prisoner is serving time. At around 8 p.m., inmates are required to return to their dorms and cell blocks in time for a final count. Depending on the unit's rules, prisoners might be allowed to engage in quiet hobbies for an hour or two, either in a communal area or in their cells. Many play chess or checkers. Others take the opportunity to watch television and unwind. Later, prisoners may read in their bunks as they wait for the count to be completed and the cell doors to be locked. The lights are usually turned off at 11 p.m. Night is often a tough time for prisoners, with many reporting that nighttime is the loneliest part of the day. Insomnia is a common issue in jail, which can in turn be detrimental to the mental health of prisoners. Some therefore wear earplugs and eye masks to block out light sources, as well as the sound and movements of other inmates. Prison officers aren't the only ones still active after lights out in prison. While most prisoners are trying to sleep, others have to get up during the hours of darkness to fulfill various duties. Chefs and other canteen workers wake up especially early, being roused from their dormitories and cells as early as 3:30 a.m., ready to start work at 4 a.m. to prepare breakfast for the other inmates. Kitchen workers typically continue on their shifts to prepare meals for later in the day, too. There are other more specialized and, it must be said, challenging jobs that prisoners are recruited to take on during the night. One of these is to attend to prisoners who are on suicide watch, which could mean being awakened by guards in the middle of the night. Jerry Metcalf recalls in his Marshall Project article being taken to go and meet a depressed teenage inmate. As well as offering a receptive ear, his job is to ensure the prisoner doesn't come to any harm. After a 3-hour shift, prisoners performing such duties return to their dormitories or cells and go back to sleep to prepare for another day behind bars.